humanity. The developing world is speaking out, and it's about time that the UK stood with them.
Saville-Roberts.
Everyone here knows that what is unfolding in Rafah, in a refugee camp the size of Cardiff, but with treble the number of people within its boundaries, treble the number crammed inside, that what is happening there now is an irrevocable disaster. Yet, in light of this evidence, the government's refusal to support calls for a ceasefire is shameful. And this is important. It is doing damage, reputational damage, to the UK's interests at home and abroad. While dismissing a ceasefire, the government claims to be working to prevent the loss of civilian life in Gaza. But where is the action and where is the urgency, and what could the government be doing? The government itself, what could the government be doing to make a difference? Where are the arms export bans to Israel, which give clear evidence of their use against civilians? Where is the diplomatic pressure on the Israeli government to comply with the ICJ ruling? Where are the UK efforts to restore funding to the UN in Palestine, given the dire humanitarian situation there? Where even is the provision of treatment for injured Palestinian children in UK specialist hospitals? All things we could do tomorrow, Mr Deputy Speaker. My constituent, British citizen Emily Fares of Clwyn-Gurel, is desperately seeking support on crowdfunding to bring over family members from Gaza. She told me this morning, my father-in-law was messaging me most of last night as al-Masawi was coming under intense fire. On loudspeakers, Israeli forces were asking displaced women and children to stay in their tents and for men to surrender themselves. We didn't even hear until this morning that his brother and sister and children survived. This is meant to be a designated safe zone, and they are living in terror. The government must be aware that the inconsistency with which Palestinians seeking to escape a war zone are being treated is set to be the subject of a legal challenge. My constituent has seen the support provided by the UK government to Ukrainian refugees for 2 years. Both she and I can only conclude that the lack of similar support to refugees, firstly from Afghanistan and now from Palestine, must now be morally and legally questioned. Will the Minister justify to Emily why there is no such scheme for people trapped in Gaza? Only a diplomatic means, we know, can solve this crisis, and it has brought so many new horrors since October the 7th. One where the fighting stops, where Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners are released, and there is finally a route to a sustainable two-state solution. The longer we allow death and violence to continue, the rising reactionary forces of anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, will continue to spread through all our communities.
Stevens.